Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here, and thank you at home for watching this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, as always, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, so would everybody please rise? And Councilman Lupinacci, would you lead us?
My pleasure. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Okay, once again, thank you all for joining us for tonight's Town Board meeting. The date is Wednesday, January 9th, 2019, and prior to the Town Board coming out here for the public session, they met in executive session to discuss a personnel matter and to interview candidates for the vacancy that we currently have on the Town of Carmel Planning Board. We interviewed two very good candidates tonight, and we're planning on interviewing two others that have applied for that position as well. So it's going to span over probably 2 or 3 weeks, and hopefully we'll be appointing someone first week or second week in February. Our intention is to appoint that individual to the planning board. So we have 4 candidates, and the 2 we interviewed tonight, as I said, were very good candidates. For the record, Councilman Schneider will not be joining us tonight. He has a family matter that he's attending to this evening, so he won't be able to join us. But for the record, the rest of the town board is present, as is our town attorney, Greg Fulchetti, all the way down to my left. So tonight's town board meeting, as I stated, is a town board work session. So the first item on the work session agenda is the review of the town board minutes of December 12th, 19th, 2018, and January 2nd, 2019. Does any town board members wish to comment on the minutes? Okay, there being none, first item on the agenda tonight is to consider additions to the active list of the Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. We have a request here from Gabe Rivera. He's the corresponding secretary for the Mahopac Fire Department. The fire department would like to add the following persons to their active roles. We respectfully request to have them added, and the 2 individuals are Jessica Hart of Mahopac, New York, and Drew Charles Kanash of Mahopac, New York also. Any questions, comments regarding the Mahopac Fire Department's new members that they'd like to add? I'd like to thank those 2 individuals for joining the Volunteer Fire Department. Okay, next item, number 2, James Gilchrist, Director of Recreation and Parks. This is to consider a request to authorize and purchase an installation of a new sanding body for the Town of Carmel Recreation dump truck. Jim, thanks for being here.
Okay. Yeah, it's a sanding insert for the back of the dump truck. We had a stainless steel unit that we had from the highway department, and when we got the truck up and going, we had the sander. We tried to get it out to mobilize it for the winter, and the town mechanic deemed that it was better to replace it based on what the service is going to be required on that sander. It would be over $2,500 in repairs, and it's gone through a number of hands, so he recommended replacing it with the new plastic type. It's got double the capacity with a lid on the top, so we can actually use it during storms, keep the material dry. It'll keep us from going back and forth to the highway department to keep loading it up. And based on this volume, we should be able to do all the town parks anywhere else necessary with one load.
And you'll be able to help out Town
Yes.
Hall here, too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe Harmon, he does have a key for the truck, so if we're not around, he can go over to the park, pick it up, use it here.
Okay.
Yep. So,
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Any questions, comments about this? It's needed. The one that was in there is very old and required a lot of maintenance and a lot of repairs to it, and it definitely would have exceeded the value we've gotten out of it.
Yes. Yep.
So
I just paid just about the same thing for one, so the price is right.
yeah, okay. Thanks, Jim.
You got it. Yes, there is warranty, yep. Yeah, and then Craig over at the Highway Department has all that information.
Okay.
And any issues that we have with it, we bring it back to him directly, and he deals with the installers.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Councilman John Lupinacci. This is to consider a proposal for Phase 2 field improvements for the Town of Carmel Airport Park. John?
And Thank you, Kenny, and Jimmy and I could tag team if I miss anything, but everyone is aware that we broke ground at the airport, and we broke this into different phases. Phase 1, which they're doing right now, is the heavy earth movement, creating the pads, leveling the land, creating the retention ponds, and so forth. The second phase right now, or the second phase, I should say, is really field address, where we're putting in say, foot of soil, for the actual playing fields and irrigation and so forth. And so this is the phase 2, and in order to do the phase 2, we would like to keep in line with what we've done throughout this whole airport property, is to keep Insight Engineering's, retained, and allow them to actually do any design work on what we're looking to do for the actual the playing field surface, do soil testing, putting out the construction documents, because again, that is in DEP area, so a lot of construction documents have to be made. We're going to have to put forth a bid package. It's an engineering project, construction project, and then there's construction phasing. So again, keeping in line with phase 1 and keeping Insight in, we'd like to move forward with phase 2. The total fee right here is on page 3 of the handout of the proposal. It's $42,000, and in the original budget, we budgeted about $40 to $45 for this type of service. Also, this service is somewhat a la carte. It is like, I'll call it a pseudo max number. It's based on hours. If there's less hours, or if the town could help out in any way, this number could come down. But in order to keep this project moving and to get this second phase bid out in time and ahead of the construction season, if you will, the rec committee last night, mentioned that they'd really like this to move, so it's on the work session right now. Like to get it on the voting session for next week and to vote on to, again, continue to retain Insight for the airport park development. Did I miss anything, Jim?
Yeah, just the timing of this. Phase 1 should be hopefully completed by the middle to the end of May. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get ahead here a little bit. Insight's work is going to take 45 days from when we tell them to start, approximately 45 days to do this preliminary work.
Yeah,
And what's critical about this is we're going to engineer the soccer fields. We're going to amend the soils. Right now, we're going to have piles of topsoil in each of the fields. We're going to irrigate the fields. And that all has to work together. It has to be engineered. If we have low yields on water, it obviously makes a different mix that we put onto the fields, including the grass seed and everything else. So there is a lot of work that's on the front end of it. We have a great subcommittee that we meet with every other week until this project is up and going. Councilwoman McDonough and John Lupinacci are both on that committee, along with MSA representatives and also Recreation Committee members. They are critical in these budget numbers. We're going to keep these numbers. These are our max numbers. We're going to be below these numbers. We discussed that last night. There are some things that we're going to look at that we could possibly use our town engineering department to help us out with, and also some of the volunteers that we have on the committee. We might be able to save on some of on the front end work. So anyways, so their project, they're anticipating about 45 days. Then we go out to bid, that's about another month. If we run into any issues, you're right in that May timeframe. And we want to try to capture these the contractors that are doing this work are not coming from around this area. They're going to be coming from Lower Jersey, Pennsylvania, Long Island. There's not really local people that are doing this kind of work. We're going to specify certain equipments that'll be used on the field. So there is a lot of work that we're going to be putting into this. And Insight's work that we've done in all of our park developments has always been adequate and above standards. We've been happy with all the work so far.
Thanks, Jim.
You got it?
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, next item on the agenda, number 4, Mike Simone, Highway Superintendent, is to consider request to authorize disposal of old and obsolete equipment. You have a memo here from the Highway Superintendent. He's requesting authorization to dispose of the following: 2009 Ford Crown Victoria, 2010 Ford Crown Victoria, and a 1997 Mack RD 4x2 brine. So this was their brine truck number 40. So the brine equipment is being removed from the truck, and it's being placed in another truck. So the brine equipment doesn't obviously go with this truck when it's disposed of. So it's just the truck that they're getting rid of. The
About
two
time.
the two
That was
Crown
embarrassing.
Victorias.
That was an embarrassing truck.
Yeah, sure was. The two Ford Crown Victorias are hand-me-downs from the police department. They're no longer of use with the highway department. They require a lot of work, and the bodies are in poor condition, so Mike had recommended, let's get rid of them as opposed to, putting good money into bad money where it doesn't make any sense sometimes. And I agree with the highway superintendent. So those three vehicles are going to be disposed of. So let's go on to number 5. Also, the highway superintendent, this is a request to consider enter into an agreement with New York State DOT Partners in Safety Program. This is a program, this is a renewal of a program that's been ongoing with the highway department. And Mike is recommending that we renew this agreement with the partners in safety. This is the company that does the OSHA testing and the drug testing. So it's, there's prices here. It's $47 per employee per year. It was a $1 increase over the 2018 agreement. And the DOT drug test lab or offices and partners in safety, it's $48 per test. It's a $1 increase over 2018. And emergency service for special situations requiring urgent on-site collections or tests on nights, weekends, and holidays, it's $160 per hour. And it's a minimum of 2 hours plus the cost of the test. It's a $10 increase for that. So it's a slight increase over 2018's program. It's reasonable, and the highway superintendent is recommending that the board approve the 2019 agreement with Partners in Safety.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments, concerns over that? This is something that is needed,
Yeah.
and that's been ongoing, and it's been a very successful program for the highway department. Yeah, it's a
But
big,
that's
yeah.
why, it really is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, so moving on. Number 6, Police Chief Mike Kazari. Chief, this is consider request to authorize purchase of an unmarked detective's vehicle with additional lighting package. This, although your backup is correct, it's a 2016 model, but it's a brand-new car.
Where'd you find a leftover 3 years old?
In his driveway.
Yeah. Sergeant Bagnerall found it at Robert Green's. He told them we were looking to spend $30,000, which we were budgeted
Really?
for a detective vehicle. And Robert Green said, brand-new car for you. So we're just going to grab that up.
This would be
The supervisor said, do they have more than one? He didn't, but, maybe next year there'll be a 17 left.
This is a legit leftover, double.
Legit, never been touched, that never been,
No, not a,
purchased.
not a, anything.
yeah, and it's a good car. He had it on his lot. And we spoke to Craig, the mechanic. He said it's the same style. It's
Same
exactly the same as
Yep.
what we're using. So it goes with what the supervisor wanted us to do, was try to stay uniform with our products. And
No, we got lucky.
we haven't had any
Can I ask you
mishaps
something,
with those
Chief?
cars. Yes, sir?
Susie and I were just talking. This is a 2016, it's great, it's a brand-new car, but it's a leftover.
Yeah.
And they're giving us a great deal on it, $21,000 for the car.
Right.
The normal list is $37,000. They're giving it to us for $21,000. Good deal, it's a good deal.
Well, we get them for 26, 27, brand new.
Yeah.
So,
We're saving $5,000-6,000.
$5,000 or $6,000.
Yeah.
Don't advertise
Same
that.
car.
Another town's gonna come in and,
No,
But-
the question is, how many more do we need?
no,
He didn't have any
said
more.
they didn't have any more.
Oh,
no,
that's it.
and Rob Bagnerall, Sergeant Bagnerall has been calling the Dodge and the Ford dealers. He's been calling, looking for more deals like this. He said, maybe we could do this with the marked cars, but
Yeah, I'm just shocked
He's
that they
looking.
have them, that they keep them, that they still have it.
yes,
Yeah,
it's a good find, thankfully.
it really is.
Well, tell them
Yeah.
thank you for
If they had two, I'd probably recommend buying
That's what
buying
you said.
the second one. Yeah.
Who found it?
Sergeant Bagnerall at Robert Green
Tell him we said
in
thank you.
Monticello. I will. That dealer's been good. We've had good service and good luck with him. It's, the county uses him too. That's where we got it from.
All right, Chief, go on to the next
Thank
one.
you.
So
You also have 7, consider request to purchase motor vehicle fuel under the New York State OGS contract.
Right, so it was brought to my attention that we need to do a resolution to re-up the bid, because we purchase that much fuel in bulk. They are awarded the contract in Putnam, and this is the same company that had it last year, they just extended it. So just looking for authorization to redo the bid. The price is on page 11 of what it is a gallon.
So Kenny, here
Wait,
behind the
not
police
11.
station is regular gas, and at the
Page 10.
highway is the diesel.
Diesel, yeah.
That's the.
Yeah, Simone's pumps are diesel, and he gases his, he fuels his
Fuel,
gasoline
yeah.
vehicles at our
Over
pump.
here.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
And
And we
we
just
used to
upgraded
do
that
our
pump.
diesel at his pump when we had it.
And the highway superintendent wanted me to tell the board that the tank, the new tank, is being installed as we speak. It's
They're
there.
doing it today.
The crane delivered it today, they
Yeah.
dropped it on the pad, so that's moving forward.
Perfect.
All right, chief, thank you.
No,
Thanks,
no,
Chief.
thank the board. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
And Greg.
Greg.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. Probably, yeah. All right. Okay, that concludes the town board work session agenda items for this evening's meeting. Is there any members of the public that would like to come up and address the board on the agenda items that we just covered tonight? Come on up at this time, if there are any. Okay, there being none, is there anyone here for the open forum new business portion of the meeting? Come on up at this time. Hey, John. Abby, you? How are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year, everyone.
Same to you.
Happy New Year.
So it's John Butler from the Hamlet of Carmel, and specifically, because it'll be the topic of conversation, from the Kelly Ridge area. I want to talk tonight about water. We had a meeting just a little bit less than 9 months ago, April 25th, in the Carmel, where we had a informational session about Carmel Water District Number 2. Just a little bit of context. So we're going on 35 years living in our starter house on Kelly Ridge Road. And over the course of that time, virtually the entire time, there's been a variety of problems with water. It really started off right from the day we moved in, when we came upon the horrible realization we have no water pressure. So the spending of the money started almost immediately, a couple of $1,000 to put in a water pressure booster pump. And then over the years, as was discussed during the meeting, the quality of the water has diminished and gotten exponentially worse, basically over the last 10 to 12 years. Again, a little bit of background for folks that may not be familiar with it. The Kelly Ridge area consists of 4 roads: St. Michael's Terrace, Everett Road, Kelly Ridge Road, and Hillside Place. It's positioned basically equidistant between Route 52 and the Hamlet and Simpson Road. The main thoroughfare being Fair Street, which, another sort of plus for our lives, has been described by the Putnam County Highway Commissioner as the worst road in Putnam County. So just a little bit more, another layer of context here. So I, since over the years, have now installed 2 separate water filter systems, including the water filters and things like water dispensers and refrigerators, etc. I spend somewhere between $400 to $500 a year in filters, because the life of those filters is a fraction of what the specifications are. And I have an example of that, just so everyone can see. So that's a new whole house filter, freshly bought from Home Depot. This is the same filter that's been in my house, and this is 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Specifications are that it's supposed to last at least 3 months, and even after 3 months, it's not even remotely close to this. This is what's coming into my house and all the other houses. In addition to that, and really what has gotten me to this point, because believe me, I've got a lot of spare time on my hands. There's nothing else for me to do during the day, and I say that jokingly. But now I'm in a position where approximately 12 or 13 years ago, we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on renovating our house. Included in that was a complete infrastructure replacement. Plumbing, heating equipment, all sorts of basically infrastructure replaced with the highest quality equipment available. No Home Depot, the best. Now, I've had 3 professionals in my house, various guys, plumbers, HVAC guys, who have advised me that the systems are now breaking down, and I'll be spending somewhere in the area of $4,000 to $5,000 on repairs for this infrastructure. That's a result of the water that's coming into my house from the water tank on the top of Everett Road, which has never been maintained, that is literally a rusting hulk that I've personally witnessed had at least 3 leak events requiring emergency people to come and weld steel plates on the outside of the tank to plug the holes. It is literally rusting to death. It's not maintained. So, again, back in April, we had this informational meeting. One of the items that was discussed, and I think the engineering consultant was there, he said that they had retrieved what I had no idea what he was talking about at the time, but I do now, a quote-unquote coupon from the main that was on Everett Road, right essentially at the beginning of the entire Kelly Ridge complex, I should say the bottom, because there happened to be a main break. So they took the opportunity to retrieve this quote-unquote coupon, which is a piece of metal that just is an indicator as to the corrosion of the pipes and the mains. I believe the conclusion, the observation was that it was clear and without question that the mains in the entire area are corroded and beyond, way beyond any sort of feasible use. And that was the end of the meeting. So I'm here tonight to ask a couple of questions. Number one, what since that time has been done in general in terms of Carmel Water District Number 2, not in terms of the work that was done, we know about what was done, but what was done or has been done in terms of investigation, analysis, reporting on the various conditions of Carmel Water District Number 2 since over the past 9 months. Anything? We got anything?
We do. The engineer and the consulting engineer are putting together a report that they're going to present to the board at an upcoming meeting. I'm not sure, when. They haven't given me a date for that, but they are going to present that report of their findings of the coupons that were removed, that were taken from various areas of the hamlet, and they're going to make recommendations based on their analysis and review of the pipes, the coupons, and make recommendations to the town board with respect to replacing those.
Okay.
I'm not sure what order, John, that's going to occur in, because there were several coupons that were removed, one being on Everett Road, and they're going to discuss what the next step is as far as dealing with that. But I will tell you, with respect to the tank, I had a conversation as early as today, and I had one yesterday regarding the condition of the Everett Road. It's in poor condition.
Now, that's an understatement.
I'm not an engineer.
You're a human being
and
with eyes.
I'm not an operator of the district, but I can tell you that tank is going to have to be replaced. There's no question about it.
No
I'm in
question.
agreement with you, and I've also asked the engineer and the consulting engineer to provide a report based on, their observations of that tank, the history of the tank. They can't even patch that tank anymore. That's how bad it is.
Well,
It's a steel tank that's 70 years old.
I've been talking about it for 25
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Okay.
We're in
Literally.
agreement.
Literally.
That there's going to
Okay.
be something happening with that tank.
So I've done my investigation and my review and analysis. Here are the results. It's not imagination, it's not guesswork, it's not, well, maybe this or maybe that. It's been 9 months since we had that informational session. The fact that, and I'm sort of in the environmental business myself, and I deal with consultants literally every day. And when someone is given a job, and it's 9 months later, and we're still talking about when a report is prepared, it's unacceptable because of this, okay? So you've got thousands of people, literally, maybe, probably 1,000 at least, just in that one area, that are being subjected to this every single day, you know, from infants to old folks like us. So I don't think I should be paying, and I don't think I'm going to pay my water bill anymore. As a matter of fact, I stopped paying it. I'm already on the levy list. I'm on the list. I'm there. I'm proudly on the list of delinquents. I'm on there for 90 days plus $77, plus interest, about $93. So I'm not going to pay that either. So I'm going to encourage the people that live up there. There's not many that are as crazy as me, so probably most won't do it, but I'm going to encourage folks to not pay their bill either. The next point is, and much more importantly is, when is this going to be fixed? That's the question. Anyone?
I personally have no idea, but what I can do is tomorrow, like what the supervisor said, I wasn't, aware of some of the stuff because we're not here, but I can call Rich Franzetti and find out, and see if we can get a timeline for you.
Okay, that's very nice, but, and
No, it's
believe me,
not-
I say this with all due respect, seeing if we can get a timeline is, and again, all due respect, is really not an acceptable answer. What we need to, the answer has to be, we're going to get a timeline, and we're going to present that within the next 2 weeks. And that's the sort of response that we need to get, because this isn't, hey, it's a park, it's a pothole, it's landscaping. This is water. This is the basics. This is health and safety. This is the primary objective of government, is health and safety. Sitting around waiting for reports, maybe we'll see, let's see what we'll do this next, we'll maybe no mas. So, I'm coming back every week. I have, like I said, I've got a tremendous amount of spare time on my hands in between flying all over the country and working, 12 hours a day, but I'm going to come back every week. And, maybe I'll come back when they shut the water off if they don't pay my bill for a certain period of time.
John?
But we're past any reasonable length of time. We're past any reasonable process. It has to be addressed now.
John?
John, that's what I meant when I said, I guess I didn't say it properly or to how you're interpreting it, but when I said that I was going to speak with the engineer, that's the outcome that I usually will get when I ask for something,
All right.
okay?
Just bear with me, because, I'm like, I don't have any patience. But the fact of the matter is that this honestly, and again, I say this with all due respect, it has nothing to do with anyone on the board here. Having this discussion, this conversation right now, 9 months after that session, is completely unacceptable. We're not here, we shouldn't be, the people that are drinking the dirty water, shouldn't be in a reactive process. We're in a proactive process. So you have a meeting, you had the purpose and the objective of the informational session was to gather information and report on the conditions of the water. Conclusions were pretty clear even back then. And to sit here and say, we're going to be asking for this, that's not the way it goes. What should be happening and should have happened 6 months ago is, hey, we have a report, we're going to do a presentation of the results, and this is what our go-forward plan of action is. This is not the time to be talking about, well, let's check it out. That's all I'm saying.
John,
Okay.
for the 30 years that we both shared that podium, I've always found you to be the most eloquent speaker and eloquent writer, letters to the editor. You're 110% right. I hope you come back every week. I hope you bring one additional person every week, because that's the only way you're going to get some people's attention. I've been here 1 year almost to the day. You're getting piecemealed to death. Carmel Water 2 is getting piecemealed to death, and it's going to end up like Carmel Water 9, okay? My first night here, I asked to get rid of the consulting engineer. I did it 4 times this year. I did it last week. And I said, it's the last time I'm going to do it till the next election, which is this year. Until some people in this building, you know my feelings for the town engineer, they're not good. You know my feelings for the consulting engineer. I think it's one of the most disgraceful contracts that any taxpayer ever has to pay for. And the only way, and I spoke to somebody today from Carmel 2, I spoke to several people this week regarding Carmel 2, and I got a load of pictures from the water towers. You're being piecemealed to death, all right? And the only way people like Carmel are going to get results is by coming here and speaking exactly like you did this evening. Because I see the bills, and it's not right. And you're being very nice,
It's amazing, right?
because I'd be throwing that at Kenny, not at, anybody else, but I'd throw it at Kenny.
To be
Thanks, Mike.
To
You're
be
welcome.
very frank about it, I get what you're saying. And again, I take this exactly with all due respect. I don't care.
You're right,
I don't care.
you're right.
All I care about is having clean water.
You're 100,
Don't care how we get there, don't care who gets fired, don't care who gets hired, don't care.
Yeah.
Just want the results. That's it. And the results have to happen now. It should have never, ever got this far.
that's right.
And when you see someone in the county, tell them about Fair Street, because that's supposed to be fixed too. But that's been going on for 30 years. So, I really look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Bring somebody with you.
Great.
May I just add one
Sure.
point? And please, by no means am I saying this to get you riled up. Because
okay.
I'm gonna
Very calm.
slightly, no, but I'm
older.
gonna slightly go against one thing that you said, and I'm asking
Go ahead.
politely. Please pay your water bill, because what
I'm not
hap-
paying my water.
No, but.
I'm not paying my water
No,
bill.
no, I'm with you, but
I
what
want them to
happens?
turn the water off and take me away in
So-
cuffs.
But, Mr. Butler, they're not going to, because the county makes us whole. So it makes the water district whole, and then it goes to the county, and then you get a 10% surcharge on the water bill, and then the county actually bills
Right.
you in the county thing. So that's, like, if you think, like, by not paying it, you're going to, like, create noise, and I'm just saying that because I don't want to see you or your neighbors get charged an extra 10%.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to be.
It's not a money issue. I
And
don't
I'm
care
not
about
trying to
that.
be a
I
wise
got plenty
guy
of money.
saying this, I'm just,
The-
like,
It's a matter of,
if it's a
you
matter of
don't
principle,
pay.
I get it.
You don't pay for that. You just take this in any other element of your life. Someone's providing you with a bad product. You don't pay for that. You stop paying for it, and you have it replaced or repaired. You don't pay for something that's broken.
If you had
You
a-
just don't.
Then don't pay that part of
If
your
you had
county
100
bill.
people in here
No, no.
saying that, you'd get somebody's attention. Right now, it's just you, and John's trying to protect you. But you bring 100 people in here and say that, and you watch the attention you get.
Right. It's just
So I'm not telling you not to
unfortunate.
pay
It's
your water
just-
bill. I'm telling you
again,
to get more people
Yeah,
together with you.
I understand what you're saying. It's just unfortunate to me, honestly, that that's even necessary. It's just, there's a fiduciary duty here, again.
That's right.
Health and safety, #1 priority of government in general. The fact that we have to have people come in to do that, I don't disagree with you. I think it's tragic, to be perfectly
It
honest with you.
shouldn't
I
have to
think
be
it's
that way.
tragic. It's
Right,
tragic.
yeah.
It's a tragedy. It doesn't make
Yep.
any sense.
Yeah.
Especially in a community like this, where, it's, people work and have, relatively medium to high, this just shouldn't happen. This is crazy. This is Flint. I mean,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? This is Flint. So,
John, the points that you raised, you're right on the money. You're 100% on the mark. And I take responsibility for the delay, for the 9-month delay. It should never have taken this long.
Right.
I'm in agreement with you. I don't know why it's taken this long, but I'm the town supervisor. I run the day-to-day
so you'll
operations.
find out.
I accept responsibility for this. I'll find out.
a complete non sequitur, just for
Yeah,
a second. I'm
sure.
looking, since I was gonna come anyway, because I'm looking forward to the public hearing on that peddling law. That's a problem. And, you know, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore, but up again, where we live, there's one company that comes out of Connecticut, I'm not gonna mention it, that are sending these solicitors out to fix roofs, that is getting their methodology, and I'm no snowflake, believe me, is getting damn close to menacing, okay? I almost called the coppers the other day. So I'm really looking forward to that, and a very quick passing of the
We need to
legislation.
enact that legislation.
Call the
No
cop.
question about it.
Great.
And,
Call the cop.
They have better things.
Don't wait, no, don't
I
wait.
take my dog out, he's a big
Well,
This-
if they
lab.
get
He
a, if
licked
they
him
get
to
a
death.
senior citizen, okay, call the cop next time.
and just for the benefit of the public, this legislation on the peddling law that we're gonna adopt, and we're gonna adopt,
Yeah,
but we wanna hear the public also.
sure.
This isn't gonna affect any of the street
I
fairs
know,
that we
no, the
have.
kids
There's a
are-
concern about, is it gonna affect the vendors at the street fairs? And the answer is no.
Vendors,
I know.
Farmers markets.
Farm markets.
Yeah.
Farmers markets, it's not gonna affect that. It's gonna stop, right, it's gonna stop the door-to-door peddlers, the solicitors
Yeah.
that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And they're down here also.
Oh, yeah.
They're
It's not
here,
good.
they've come to my house, and I told them to get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, look at my house.
I'm
It
the
doesn't-
supervisor, get out of here.
It doesn't need a roof, look at my roof. I don't need windows either.
No, and we're all on the same
Came
page.
to the wrong house.
My position is, you don't belong here.
Right,
I don't know who this guy is. They could say one thing and be totally another. So that's, I think, again, it's another safety issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's protection for the
Yes.
residents.
And by the
And-
way, I learned how to write and to speak because of 16 years of Catholic education, including Sister Sharon Maureen in 4th grade, who scared the hell out of me. So,
So you got scarred knuckles.
John.
Wait, 16 years college too then, please.
16 years, St.
John,
Michael's College.
you and I go back almost 12 years now, or longer than that. I don't know if, when I was a cop, did I have any issues that we deal with?
No, I was,
Okay,
what are you inferring?
all right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that did not sound
And
right.
I've always had a lot of respect for you, John, and I sincerely appreciate you coming here tonight.
Okay, thanks very much.
As Councilman Borelli stated.
Thank you. Have a good
I wish
evening.
more people would come.
Maybe they will, and you'll regret that statement.
Okay. Thanks, John. Is there anyone else for new business open forum? Okay, there being none, I just have a quick announcement, and I've been announcing this. The electronic waste drop-off station at 33 McAlpin Avenue has been temporarily suspended until further notice. The Putnam County Department of Health is currently in the process of seeking a new vendor to provide e-waste services to the residents of Putnam County and the town of Carmel. For additional information, please contact not my office, but the Putnam County Department of Health at 845-808-1390. We really need to have this e-waste container back up and running again because we're having a lot of e-waste dumped on the roadways throughout the town, back roads, on private property. People, please don't do that. You know, bring it to an appropriate yard that you can dispose of it at. There are places that you can bring your e-waste to. The Carters, AAA, and RNS are not accepting e-waste, so don't put it out at the curb because they're not going to pick it up. In fact, it's illegal for them, the Carters, to pick up e-waste. So find a proper receptacle for that, and on a back road in your neighborhood or anyone else's neighborhood is not appropriate, and you could be issued a summons for that, and or perhaps even be arrested for that. So bring it to a proper disposal location. Anybody else have anything? Mike? John? Susie? Okay. All right, so we're going to conclude the meeting tonight. We do not have executive session, so I need a motion to close. So moved by Councilwoman McDonough.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday for the Town Board voting meeting. Be well.